What is your American dream?
My American dream is to have a combination of living in an urban environment with a lot of culture and beautiful things, but also being able to be around nature.
As someone who's not a Native American, the dream was to come here and do art and be creative and do it at a high level and have it seen by everyone out there, and it's definitely coming true.
I just want to do what I love and be able to make a living off of that.
American dream, it's like free, like everybody free, and then everybody friendly.
The American dream was to just come to the United States for a better and greener pastures, and I did achieve that.
Everyone has a right to the American dream. Mike, good morning or good afternoon or good evening, depending on where you are. It's good evening for me. It could be good morning for you if you're on the other side of the world. But right here in New York, it's good evening. Yo-Yo and Vanessa, good evening or good morning for you guys. Where are you?
Good evening.
Very good evening to you all, right?
Yes.
Okay. And finally, they shared the memo with me, which was, the memo was potluck, anybody wear whatever you want.
There you go.
It was potluck memo today. Wear what you want. And this is what we got. I am having trouble getting on to Facebook. There we go. Now I'm there. There we are. And how you guys doing? It was a nice warm day here in New York. No? Yes? Maybe?
It was.
I wasn't outside. I don't know. It looked nice.
I mean,
No,
it was
nice
warm.
out.
Did you hear me?
Yes, but everyone's...
I said it was warm for it to be winter. You know, I went out running with just a sweatshirt and not a sweatshirt, hoodie, and beanie with a scarf.
That's very nice. That's very nice.
Yeah.
And Vanessa, and you, did you get outside today or were you inside working all day?
I did. I was outside for a little bit, and then I was at work.
And then you were inside. You were outside and now you're inside. All right, let's say, I don't know. So far, straight down. Let's what the what, right? What the what? All right, let's say hello to the squad. Maybe we can change this up a little bit here. Hello, Carol Anderson. You know what it was is I was a little flummoxed because I couldn't get my devices weren't working. So I couldn't see if we were live, we weren't live. I just hear Julie, the broadcaster guy, saying we're live, but I can't tell otherwise. But now we're all set. So it's one of those days, guys. It's one of those days.
It's all good.
Yeah, Carol Anderson, the Tigers, squad up. Christy Consali saying hello. Jessica Levy, Joel Reed, squad up. Dawn Harriet, squad up. Dip Fab, Cake Affairs. Deion Watson, squad up. Willie L. Williams, hey. And I said Dawn Harriet, Tua Tubman, saying hello to everybody. It's Apple Pie. It's Apple Pie. Says, Brad, please give a personal shout out to Jonathan for me. He was so fantastic in helping me today. Thank you, Jonathan. Dance, happy face. You're amazing. What did you do to help It's Apple Pie? Were you the a la mode?
I was not.
You were not the a la mode. Okay.
I was not the a la mode.
Well, you're in New York and she's in another country, so you could not have been the a la mode.
Exactly.
Right.
You know, just doing my due diligence. She hit me up on Instagram for some help, and connected the dots to make sure that she was good.
You did that, right?
That's all I did.
That's all you did. All right. And on YouTube is starting off slow every day, but starts picking up speed. But right now, just Denise Finley, good evening. That's it.
Oh.
No
that's it.
mas. No mas. All right. Before we get into schmoozing, why don't you tell everybody a little bit about what's going on?
Absolutely. All right, squad. So remember, we need you all to share because we're about to start schmoozing with Brad. He's going to fill us in on the latest with Donald Trump and his social media bans. Yep.
And I know we're going to be talking about Vice President-elect Kamala Harris, Vogue cover, our first African-American or mixed vice president is on the cover of Vogue, and that has been the buzz all over the internet. So I can't wait to get into that during Schmoozing with Brad.
But meanwhile, if you need to reach me, you give us a call at 1-800-529-5465, or to get on our show, it's 1-800-529-5465. It's the same telephone number, international 212-227-8933. Later in the show, I'm going to be speaking with Mexican-American filmmaker Chelsea Hernandez, whose documentary Building the American Dream exposes construction industry injustices in Texas, where at least half the construction workforce is undocumented. But right now, let's get into a little bit of schmoozing with Brad, right?
Yeah.
You ready to schmooze?
All right.
So, it's very interesting, Yo-Yo, because we had that conversation yesterday about the First Amendment and whether or not, because you said you were at that party over the weekend, and some of your friends, they were complaining and saying, maybe Trump should not have been banned. That's freedom of speech. And I had suggested yesterday that, not suggested, I know the law. I didn't even suggest. I said what the law was, which is it's a private company. They can do whatever they want. And interestingly, later that evening, the New York Times published a article by Michelle Goldberg, who's one of the New York Times' power writers. She's always writing there in the New York Times, very well known, well written. And she was, I don't know if she was watching Brad's show live or not, but this came up later in the evening, and she wrote about Trump getting off of Twitter. She wrote, Trump deserved to be deplatformed, but it's dangerous to have a handful of callow young tech titans in charge of who has a megaphone and who doesn't. And what she said, which is true, that although you have a right to free speech also gives people and companies the right not to associate with somebody. So you have the right to associate or the right to not associate. So for example, you have a situation where Donald Trump was very, very happy when, remember that bakery? I don't remember where it was, in Wisconsin or something. There was a bakery who refused to make a cake for a gay couple. And, so they had a right as a private business whether to make that cake or not. And just like, Facebook and YouTube has a right whether they want to have Donald Trump on their platform or not. It's a business decision. That bakery doesn't get, same-sex marriages anymore. They lost that business. But that was their decision to do.
Yeah.
Now Trump supporters like Alex Jones, Roger Stone, Steve Bannon, they have also all been ousted from Facebook and Twitter. And she still writes, though, that the ability of tech companies to mostly shut up the world's loudest men is astonishing and shows the limits of analogies to traditional publishers. I personally think this, I think Trump should be off. But what it also goes to show you is who is the most powerful, one of the most powerful people, or the group of very powerful people able to shut the president of the United States up, the most powerful leader. Who was able? Mark Zuckerberg, the people at Twitter, Jeff Bezos. I think, personally, I agree that Trump should be off. I also think these companies have way too much power. And here we are on one of those companies' platforms. So I hope they don't shut me off because I'm saying that.
Wow.
But I believe that these companies have way too much power. They're most likely a monopoly. And we remember that board game Monopoly. And I personally think, just like AT&T and just like the oil companies from the Rockefeller days, these companies need to be broken up. I think we have too much power in very few people in America. I think it needs to be broken up a little bit, but I agree that Donald J. Trump should not be on any of these platforms. What do you think?
How could it even be broken up though? Because this is their own company that they created from scratch.
Yeah, but if you're a monopoly and you can't, and there is no competition, what's the competition for Amazon? Where do you go to buy your, water? You want to have water shipped to your apartment, short of going to the local grocery store. What platform are you going for water? Facebook has Instagram, WhatsApp, and Facebook. What is the alternative to Twitter? Trump, we haven't heard from him.
Right. So question: do you guys think that Twitter actually banned Trump from Twitter towards the end of his presidency? Like that was their plan the whole time?
I believe 100%. Remember, before they got banned, remember on the show I said, watch Trump get banned within 2 weeks of not being president. Did I know that there was going to be an assault on the Capitol? It happened 2 weeks.
Right.
2 weeks. It happened 4 weeks earlier than I predicted.
Right.
That's how bad Trump is. All right.
Yeah.
It happened so it was obvious that Twitter was going to throw him off because they kept saying that his tweets they kept saying that his tweets were not accurate, and they were putting notices on his tweets. But since he was the president, they weren't kicking him off so fast.
Right.
So let me ask you a question. Do you think that the Twitter ban creates a dangerous precedent? Do you think that deplatforming extremists is more important to protect our democracy? I'll tell you what a couple of other people think. Chancellor Angela Merkel of Germany and the Russian dissident Alexei Navalny find that the Trump ban is very disturbing. Navalny wrote, "This precedent will be exploited by the enemies of freedom of speech around the world, in Russia as well. Every time when they need to silence someone, they will say, this is common practice. Even Trump got blocked on Twitter." What do you think?
I mean, like I said, taking away Trump, I do have a problem with them taking somebody's freedom of speech, regardless if it's on a private company or whatnot, because that is what this company was made. It was made to talk, to express your feelings, to say what you want. So, like I said, taking away Trump and what he has caused, I do think it's scary that these companies have so much power. The power to take away the voice of the most powerful man in the world.
Now Willie L. Williams, he disagrees with me. Mm-hmm. Willie L. Williams on Facebook says that is not true what I am saying. Walmart delivers water. Yes, but Amazon. Right. True, yeah, Walmart delivers water. You could probably go on multiple sites and find companies that deliver water. But I don't know the statistic. I don't know the statistic, but I would be really shocked to know that if Amazon doesn't control 95 to 97% of the online commerce in the United States of America, probably way up there, and that to me is a monopoly. Willie L. Williams.
Yeah.
What do you think, Vanessa? I mean, yeah, you can go to Walmart. You can probably Google, ship me Poland Spring, and there'll probably be some small, mom and pop store that'll ship it to you. But everyone goes to Amazon. They control the whole market.
Right.
That was just one example. Maybe water wasn't like the best example, but where are you getting a bunch of other random things the next day on Prime? But more so on that was a very interesting comment that you read about people saying how these platforms would be able to pretty much mute anyone that they wanted. But I also feel like in terms of it being with Trump, it was like consistently agitating different communities. Like he's kind of like a bully on Twitter and starting a bunch of different, like even if it was freedom of speech, it's affecting a lot of communities in not the best ways.
Yeah. Meanwhile, I agree with you, Vanessa. Meanwhile, the other big news in Washington right now is the impeachment train has left the station. The Democrats have given Mike Pence to the end of the day to invoke the Article 4 of Amendment 25 to to write a letter with a majority of the cabinet ministers that are still at the White House to remove President Trump from power because of his incapacity, which is his mental delusions. Pence has said he won't do it. There will be an impeachment tomorrow. Now, this will be the first time in the history of the United States that one president gets impeached twice, ever. Nobody has ever been impeached twice, except this pumpkin guy. And that's going to happen tomorrow or Thursday, depending on when the vote is. Now, the difference between last time and this time is last time it was completely partisan. It was all Democrats versus all Republicans. This time it's a little different. Last time the Republicans were strong-arming every member, Republican leadership was strong-arming every member of the Republican caucus, which means every congressman, every senator, to vote against impeachment, to vote against in the trial in the Senate. This time, that's not happening. This time, the Republican leadership is telling Republicans to vote their conscience. They are not strong-arming anybody to vote for or against Donald Trump. Why? Because I think many people want Trump out, even Republicans. 2 Republicans have come out in the last 30 minutes right before we came on air, a Republican congressman from New York and Liz Cheney, who is Vice President Cheney's daughter, who is a congressman from Wyoming, both Republicans, and they say they are going to vote for impeachment. Mitch McConnell, the head Senate, the head majority leader of the Senate, Republican, presumably the second or third most powerful Republican in the United States of America. It is being reported that he believes that Trump should be impeached as well. Why? Because he wants Trump out of the Republican Party. So this is a good opportunity for Republicans who are tired of Donald Trump to get him out, to discredit him just as he should be. Sadly, as Jill said, they're eating their own. Sadly, it should have been done years ago. It should have been,
Right.
We should never have reached this point.
Right.
Where was Mitch McConnell 2 years ago saying this?
Right.
Okay, where was Mitch McConnell saying, you know what, we should impeach him after Charlottesville when there's good people on both sides?
That part.
Right? Where
Absolutely.
was Mitch McConnell saying we should impeach him when Donald Trump is selling the presidency and basically selling the presidency? Also telling the Ukrainian president that if you don't do certain things, you are not going to get money from the United States that's already been authorized. I'm going to just not give it to you. We're going to let the Russians overrun your country. Okay? And by the way, I was just thinking about this the other day. If you remember during the Biden-Trump debates, when Biden pointed out that Trump supports the Proud Boys, which is basically, the newest version of the Nazis here in the United States of America. There's really not much difference between Proud Boys and extremist Nazis or any extremist group. And Donald Trump says, I don't even know who they are. I never heard their names before. And I remember that? We had that discussion. We're like, what kind of BS is that? He doesn't know who they are. But meanwhile, he was able to get them all to come and try to overturn a fair election. So, what BS was that, right? Yeah. Meanwhile, the FBI warns that armed protests are being planned in all 50 state capitals. The National Guard plans to have up to 15,000 of its personnel ready for the inauguration. Remember when it used to be like an 8th grade trip to go to Washington, D.C.? It was like this nice, safe trip to go to Washington. 8th grade, we got on the bus, we went to Washington, we saw all the monuments. It was a nice, safe trip for 8th graders. You can't go to Washington, D.C. now.
Right.
You couldn't go to Washington. I would have sent my kid to Washington, D.C. if they gave me $10 million.
Yeah. It's a battlefield.
It's a battlefield. Exactly. Over the weekend, D.C.'s Mayor Bowser asked Trump to declare an emergency in the district, and yesterday he did it. He also ordered federal assistance to help reinforce the district's response efforts ahead of the inauguration. Chad Wolf, the head of the Department of Homeland Security, he's resigned because every one of his rulings that he has made, every new regulation that he has made, has been found illegal because he was never voted on by the U.S. Senate to be the head of the Department of Homeland Security. So all of his rules, including the DACA, which is why DACA recipients can now apply, or you can apply newly to DACA, all because this guy was never voted on by the Senate. He finally resigned, but he resigned 8 days before the inauguration. We have nobody in charge at the Department of Homeland Security right now.
Oh, God.
What does the Department of Homeland Security do? Homeland Security. Secure us, Homeland. Secure the Homeland. Nobody's in charge. Nobody.
Yeah, that's kind of scary.
Scary.
That's scary.
Nobody's in charge.
Yeah, that's scary.
Meanwhile, after the head of the Department of Homeland Security has resigned 8 days before an inauguration where the FBI is saying that we are going to get extremist groups who are going to come try to disrupt it, perhaps plant bombs, shoot people, who knows what's going to happen. And we have nobody in charge at the Department of Homeland Security. We have a president of the United States who is inflaming all of this.
Mm-hmm.
The U.S. Secretary of State, Mike Pompeo, he wanted to go to Europe to get the hell out of here because he doesn't want to be associated with any of this. So he had a trip he made planned to Europe, except the problem is he had to cancel it. You want to know why?
Why?
Because nobody would meet with the guy. The Foreign Minister of Luxembourg and all the other top European officials declined to meet with him. So he was going on a trip to Europe to basically eat, I guess, I don't know, krupkits, cake, whatever they eat in Europe, by himself at a cafe.
By himself.
By himself at a cafe because nobody was going to meet with him.
Yikes.
What else? What else? You know what? Let's go to tea with Brad. I need some tea.
All right, yeah.
I need some tea. I need some tea.
My fave.
I have a teacup. I'm going to make my own tea today. This is what happens with budget cuts on Brad Show Live during coronavirus. I have to make my own tea. We have no butler. Budget cuts. Yes. Here we go. I have today herbal peppermint tea, guys. What are you having? What are you having?
I have chamomile.
You have
chamomile tea.
chamomile. No. I am having herbal pure peppermint tea.
That sounds good.
But I'm not done making my tea yet. What happened to my tea music? I'm not done yet. How long? There we go. Here we are. And now I'll just make some tea. I'll put that in there. And you know what? We'll all wait. We'll all wait while Brad makes his tea. Why? Because it's tea time with Brad. Why shouldn't we all wait? I hope everybody else gets their tea as well. All right. There we go. That was a very long tea making. There we go.
All right.
I have my tea now.
Golly. Jeremy needs to come back. Jeremy needs to come back.
This is what happens with budget cuts and Brad Show Live. When we had a butler, the tea was already made. We didn't have to stop the show for me to make it.
All right.
But this time we had to stop the show for me to make tea. So Vice President-elect Kamala Harris, she has landed on the cover of the February issue of Vogue magazine. Did you see this? But her team says there's a problem. I saw the pictures, but I didn't know there was a problem until just now.
Yeah, I don't like it.
Yeah, instead of the powder blue power suit that Harris wore for the cover, this is what she wore originally for the cover. The first Jamaican Indian American woman elected vice president is instead seen in a more casual attire, wearing Converse Chuck Taylor sneakers.
Yeah. Trifling,
right? Why would they make the first woman? Why would, to me, when you wear a suit, you're showing power. Right? When you wear a suit, you show power. Okay, right now I'm casual, but if I want to show power to somebody. I'm never going to go to court in a sweater, right? I would always wear my jacket and tie. And I would wear, that's why they call it the power suit. And you go to court, and that shows to everybody you're a powerful person. You come in your pajamas, you're not a very powerful person. You come in a sweater, you're not a very powerful person. Why would they show an image of the first woman, black woman, Jamaican woman, Indian woman, vice president of the United States of America, and show her in something other than the most powerful clothes that she can show, to show her image as a powerful woman? Why would they make her casual?
Yeah.
Why does she have to look? Why does she look like she's Jessica Alba trying to promote her next cookbook? Does Jessica Alba have a cookbook? I don't even know. But you know what I'm saying? Or Martha Stewart.
Yeah.
Or Gwyneth Paltrow selling her candle. Why don't we show her? Why don't we show her as the powerful woman she is? The second most powerful person in the United States of America, starting in 10 days from now.
It's a mess.
They did multiple looks. I mean, I didn't love the sneaker thing, but when I saw it, I'm like, okay, maybe they're trying to have her come, just grounded and like your go-to, like, hey, your vice president-elect is here to serve, and like your go-to girl. But then, I mean, now having this conversation, I'm like, But then there was the blue suit. I think that shoot was great.
Now,
blue suit. I didn't even see the powder blue one. Like, that would have been a great cover. When I first saw the cover come out, one I was, a little tipsy because it came out at night. I saw it and I was pissed. I was like, why would they do this? But the Vogue has a history of not really giving flattering pictures and covers for black women. So I don't know if it's because of that.
Do you think it was a black woman thing? What else? I don't know this. I mean, I'm not an expert on Vogue, so I'm gonna leave it. You educate me, because I know nothing about this. I'm telling you the truth.
Right.
I'm not saying you're right, or I have no idea. This is the first time I've ever heard anybody ever say to me, and I'm not saying it didn't happen. I just have no idea. Vogue has always done this to black women. I didn't know this.
When it comes to black and Latino women, it's never really that flattering. Like there's always a better picture. So from what I even heard, Kamala's team didn't even know that they were going to use the one.
They didn't know that. It was switched on Kamala.
How do you not know that? You're going to be the cover of Vogue. Their team should have had to say so, and I guarantee you, their team would not have picked this picture. I'm telling you.
Who else?
Cardi B, her baby.
What'd they do? What'd they do with Cardi B?
It's just unflattering pictures.
Really?
They have a whole photo. That's why I say it's black, Latina. It's
why would they do that?
Color.
But why would they do that? It makes no sense.
They say stuff about Anna Wintour. I don't want to say it because I don't know for sure, but these have been rumors in the fashion industry, and that's always been the talk. So when they come and show Kamala in some dirty Chucks, that's horrible.
But why would Kamala even pose in those clothes? I mean, can you blame? I'm just thinking. Would you blame Kamala because she's like, why would you even bring Chuck Taylors with her?
Let me tell you. Let me tell you.
Yeah.
When you do a photo shoot for a magazine, I have 2 magazine covers. Right. All right.
Oh, excuse me. You're ahead of me. 2-0, yo-yo.
I'm just saying. So I'm actually trying to answer your question. Right. When you do a magazine cover, especially, you have a whole spread inside. So you're gonna do different looks. Your stylist is throwing out different looks. That sneaker one was probably like a cute casual shot that you're gonna do because it has the pink and green, so that's showing her sorority Alpha Kappa Alpha, which was founded in 1908. So that was like a paying homage to her sorority. They did not, I guarantee you, they did not think that they were going to pick that for the cover. They probably thought that they were going to pick this one, which makes more sense.
Well, let me tell you what.
She probably had about 6 or 7 different looks.
Let me tell you what they said in a statement. Vogue said it went with the more informal image of Harris for the cover because the photo captured her authentic, approachable nature, which we feel is one of the hallmarks of the Biden-Harris administration. but the magazine said it released both images as digital magazine covers to respond to the seriousness of this moment in history and the role she has to play leading our country forward. It should have only been that one. Should have only been that one. Meanwhile, I want you to know something. Jilly sent me a video, and then some of the squad also sent me the video of Arnold Schwarzenegger. I sent it to you guys. Did you see it? Did you see that Arnold Schwarzenegger video?
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
You a bunch. Yep.
I'm going to tell you something. He's come a long way as an actor, this Schwarzenegger, from I'll Be Back. Because I want you to know something. This guy had me in tears after 7 minutes. I said, when did you ever think that Arnold Schwarzenegger, after a 7-minute speech, would put you in tears? I am not kidding. I don't want to say I was in tears, but I'm like, wow, I got a bit emotional watching this video. I'm like, Arnold, that was fantastic. It was probably one of his best scenes ever. Former
He's grown as an actor.
If people didn't see it, go see it. Former California governor, film and TV star, The Terminator, Arnold Schwarzenegger. He spoke Sunday, posting a video decrying the Capitol building takeover, also decrying Donald Trump. The video reached back to provide a history lesson about the 1938 Kristallnacht attacks in Austria. That was the beginning of the Nazi regime. That was the beginning of the Holocaust. That was the beginning of the anti-Semitism during World War II. It was that night. And it ended with Schwarzenegger holding the Conan the Barbarian sword. I just got to watch a minute or two of it. It was really great. Let's watch.
As an immigrant to this country, I would like to say a few words to my fellow Americans. Now, I grew up in the ruins of a country that suffered the loss of its democracy. I heard it with my own ears and saw it with my own eyes. They were in physical pain from the shrapnel in their bodies and in emotional pain from what they saw or did. President Trump sought to overturn the results of an election, and of a fair election. He sought a coup by misleading people with lies. My father and our neighbors were misled also with lies, and I know where such lies lead. President Trump is a failed leader. He will go down in history as the worst president ever. I believe, as shaken as we are by the events of recent days, we will come out stronger because we now understand what can be lost. Now you see this sword? This is the Conan sword. Our democracy is like the steel of this sword. President-elect Biden, we wish you great success as our president. If you succeed, our nation succeeds. We support you with all our hearts as you seek to bring us together.
And by the way, Schwarzenegger is a Republican, and he's telling Biden, a Democrat, we want you to succeed.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I loved it. Everyone should go watch it. It was like 7 minutes. It was great. It was very emotional at the end. You don't get it because we cut it up a little bit, but you don't get it. Exactly. But I'm telling you, it was very, very emotional.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Hollywood.
I always say that. Like that's the only positive we could say about Trump is it brought us all closer, and we understand what we had before. So. Do you know? All he had to do was shut up during the election, and just do a little bit to help people with COVID. Just do a little bit. Show a little empathy. Didn't have to do anything. Just really. All he had to do was shut up about Proud Boys, about immigrants.
Right.
And all he had to do was show a little empathy. He would have got the suburban vote. I'm very empathetic to everybody with COVID. We're doing everything we can. Every life is important to us. We will strive to make sure every life that is lost is a life that we can never, you can do all that empathy crap, which he doesn't believe. Right. But he could have just played the role. He could have played that role. And you want to know what? We would have had 4 more years of Trump. We would have had a Republican Senate and a much closer Republican-Democrat split in the House. It would have been, had he just showed he didn't have to do anything. Just shut up about Proud Boys, shut up about immigrants for 2 months, and give a little empathy to people who are sick with COVID. That's all he had to do.
It was the Trump show for 4 years, Brad. Yeah. We were too we were unfortunately tuned in.
So so all I can say is, you say he's a smart guy. Maybe he's not so smart. I don't know. It's just I don't get it. I don't get it because he could have been president for 4 more years. Could have been. Now, people in Hollywood, they have gone to Twitter. Chrissy Teigen just writes, ha 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 ha. Real Housewives, Bethany Frankel. She's on Twitter. Who knew? Getting kicked off Twitter is about as hard to do as getting booted from the Housewives. It's literally designed for provocative social interaction. She's right. She's right.
Yeah.
Right. Comedian Chelsea Handler wrote, congrats to Twitter for giving Donald Trump the harshest punishment he's ever received. Republican Megyn Kelly wrote, if you're on the right or not woke or want to raise cues about the integrity of our electoral system, you're next. And finally, Julia Louis-Dreyfus, Elaine from Seinfeld, she wrote at CEO Jack Dorsey, what the F took you so long, Jack?
For real.
Right. What the F took you so long? All right. We got to get to immigration questions, I think. What do you think, guys?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it. All right. So in today's Bra Education, I answer the question, how do I file for special immigrant juvenile status for an undocumented child? Let's watch. People always ask me, Brad, I know about these children. They're under 21. They're undocumented. I'd really like to help them. I feel bad. I don't know about adoption. What should I be doing to help these kids that are undocumented? Give them a chance. Well, there's a very easy thing you can do to help them. You can go into family court. You can become their legal guardian. It's very simple to do. Every local family court, no matter what state you live in, will do a simple guardianship. It only takes a month or two. You're not adopting them. And as part of the guardianship application, you make a special request to that family court judge to make a special ruling that it's not in the children's best interest to be reunited with at least one of their biological parents because of abandonment, abuse, or neglect. As long as you get that special ruling and you become that child's legal guardian and that child's under 21, they can file for a special immigrant juvenile adjustment of status and get their green card in 6-9 months on their own. What about that? Time of that night or morning or afternoon, depending on where you are, where we get the meat and potatoes out. No, not social media check-in. Nope. That's what we're doing. Getting answers to your immigration questions. Let's go to Anthony in Queens. Anthony.
Yes, good evening, Brad.
Good evening. How are you?
Yeah, I have 2 questions tonight. First of all, I'm green card holder, and I filed my I-130 petition for my wife back to October 9, 2019. Until now, they don't approve it. And the visa bulletin is current, so what can I do?
Where is your wife?
Is here in the U.S.
Okay, what is her status here?
Out of status.
All right, so if she's out of status, she can't get her green card anyway, even if the visa petition's approved, because she can't adjust out of status being married to a permanent resident. How long have you been a permanent resident of the United States?
Almost 2 years.
Okay, how'd you get your green card?
For my mom.
Okay, and then you married her?
Yes.
Okay, so then she's going to need, unless she's 245I, did she ever have anything filed with immigration before?
No, I'm in the 245I before.
You were 245I before. What about your wife? Did she have any family here that could have grandfathered her in back in the day?
No, he has a family here, but it's not for 245.
Okay, so then the answer is you would need to file a mandamus or a threat of a mandamus to get the I-130 approved. She would have to do a provisional waiver, go home, and come back. That's what needs to happen now. But she's not eligible to adjust.
Yes. Okay, one more question. It's my friend, and he has a senior citizen now. He wants to get a caregiver back in the Philippines. So they are possible to get the caregiver in the Philippines?
You can sponsor somebody in a job. But, to be a caregiver, you're talking about for an elderly person?
Yes.
Okay. You would have to show experience in that job working as a caregiver in the Philippines. And then to do a job sponsorship will take 2 to 3 years. So while that elderly person in America is getting frailer and frailer, they won't have a caregiver. And you have to be able to prove that they're not taking a job away from an American, which may be hard right now because of COVID. But is it possible to do? Absolutely. All right. So,
Okay.
All right.
All right, thank
hold
you.
on 1 second if you need help.
Okay, bye.
All right. All right. Let's go to, he didn't want to hold on. He just says goodbye. Omar in Brooklyn. Omar.
Hi, good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
What I wanted to know, a friend asked me to call. I think she came as a visitor, and I believe that she got injured, but she went home back. So she was wondering, like, how long after the injury, like, can she get a claim or stuff like that?
Well, she needs to make a claim immediately. The biggest problem about getting injured in America and then going home is that you're not going to get medical treatment to justify the pain that you're in. So it becomes extraordinarily hard for personal injury attorneys to make a claim when she's in pain, because a lot of times in countries, there's no insurance to cover her medical treatment. So she's just going to lie in pain in her home, but won't get any medical treatment, won't be able to document her injuries. That's the problem with leaving. So, but hold on. We'll see what we can do. Hold on 1 second. Let's go to Fabia in Houston, Texas. Fabia.
Hi, Brad.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing good. How about yourself?
Great.
Hi, Vanessa, Yo-Yo. And so, Brad, I have a quick question. My dad is a Somali, and he was a refugee when he filed the I-730 for my sister. At that time, she was 18 years. It was approved in 2015, but then Mr. Pumpkinhead came into office, and he put a ban on the Muslim ban, right? So it has been approved. She did the interview, everything is done, and now she's pending security clearance.
Right.
So right now, my dad already became a citizen and everything like that. So my question is, since right now she's 25, but the time he applied, she was 18, does the child status apply to her?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So he can just change the whole application to an immediate relative?
No, because she's not. No, because he became a citizen after 21 and he never had an I-130 filed for her. So, but she's still eligible to join through the political asylum.
Okay, so we just have to wait for
Wait for Joe Biden to lift all this crap that Trump did.
Okay, and she has a kid who's 10 years old.
No, they're not going to be able to get it on it.
She did the humanitarian parole. Do you know anything about the humanitarian parole?
Yes, it would have to be for a child under 2. So I doubt that the 10-year-old's going to get it. So that's going to be a problem. I think what we should do is let's have a consultation and figure out how we can help everybody in the family. All right. So
okay.
Hold on 1 second. All right.
Okay. Thank you.
Let's go to Greg in Dallas. Greg.
Hello, Brad. Yeah. So how you do today?
Great. What's going on?
Okay. So I turned in an application for my I-751 application for removal of condition.
Right.
That's precisely October 31st, and I sent it to the log box at Dallas. But I haven't gotten nothing from them, since I sent it in.
When did you file?
October 31st, 2020.
Was your check cashed?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
That's what you need to find out right now.
I tried to find out. I tried to do that, but I said.
What do you mean you tried?
Huh?
You wrote a check or a money order? How did you pay for the fee?
Personal check.
Okay, so it's very easy to see if your check cleared or not. You call your bank. You can do that tomorrow. So it shouldn't be hard.
Okay.
Contact your bank. Did this check clear? Was this check paid? If it was paid, you're fine. If it wasn't paid, you have a problem because that means immigration never received your application. All right?
Okay, but when I sent it in, I did track it now with FedEx, and someone signed for it.
Okay. If your check was cashed, you are okay. If not, problem.
All right.
Okay, so check tomorrow at the bank.
Okay.
All right. Mohammed in Queens.
Hi, how are you, Brad?
How are you?
I'm good. I have a question. I got a conditional green card through marriage.
Right.
So right now, my wife having problem with me. I don't think so. She gonna apply again, like removal conditional.
Okay.
So what should I do right now?
Get a divorce. If your wife's not going to help you, then there's no love from her to you. Then you got to do what's in your best interests. What's your best interest then at that point would be to get a divorce, and you file on your own and prove you and your wife were in a bona fide marriage, and it ended in divorce.
Okay. So what kind of document I need for apply?
To apply for a divorce or to apply for the I-751 to prove you were in a real marriage?
No, I'm on a real marriage for the removal conditional.
So how you prove you're in a real marriage, like I say every day, documents to show you and your wife live together, things with your name and her name on it, the same address, and proof you had a financial relationship, which is, here's your bank account, and you paid your bills through your bank account, your joint bank account. All
yes.
right? So it's live together and financial relation. Hold on one second. Let's go to Olu in Atlanta, Georgia. Olu.
Hi, Mr. Brad. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good. I filed my I-751 2019 to remove condition and got my 18-month extension. But my 18-month extension is going to expire February 9th. That's next month. 2021.
Right.
And I haven't even gotten an appointment yet.
You haven't got an apartment or an appointment, you said?
No appointment for interview or anything.
So you're still a permanent resident, but after February, you have no evidence of it. So
yes,
what
sir.
I would suggest you do at that point is get a letter from your job that says you need evidence of your permanent residence in order to maintain your job. And then go down to immigration, and they'll put a stamp in your passport for another year, an I-551 stamp, as evidence of your permanent residence. Or decide to travel somewhere, buy a plane ticket, and do the same thing. But you just can't go down these days because of COVID. You can't go down to immigration and just say, I want the stamp just makes me feel good. They're only going to give it to you if your job is requesting it or you need to travel. But you're still a resident.
Okay.
All right.
Second question.
Yes.
There's a ban. There's a travel ban in Nigeria. Immigrants travel ban. But I have a 7-year-old son that my wife is supposed to.
I lost you. You have a 7-year-old son and what? All right. Why don't you call back? I think he dropped his phone. Dropped. Call back. Hold on. Joseph in Boston. Joseph. Joseph.
Oh, hello. Hi, Brad. My name is Joseph.
Yes.
Hello, can you hear me?
I do.
No, my name is Joseph. I'm from Uganda. And I had a question about my I-130 got approved. And I had a pending asylum that is in immigration court.
Right.
And my master calendar is actually scheduled for April.
What
the
schedule,
question I
what
had
schedule for April?
was...
Wait. What's scheduled for April?
It's a master calendar.
Master calendar in April. Okay.
Yeah, for the asylum.
Okay.
Yeah, but actually my I-1 that was approved last week.
You're married to a U.S. citizen?
Yeah, married to a U.S. citizen.
Okay. So what you do is in April, you tell the judge you're married to a U.S. citizen, you want to file an adjustment with the judge. The judge will tell you, okay, file the adjustment by this date with me, and then they'll schedule your individual hearing for your adjustment of status instead of your asylum case.
Oh, okay. So the question I had was, is at this juncture somebody cannot do like a calendar or anything like that?
Well, it's April, so you're only 2 months away, but they're not going to recalendar anything right now. They're so backed up because of COVID. Be happy you have you have a master calendar in April.
Oh, okay.
All right.
So actually, even we filed for adjustment of. I don't think we have filed for anything like adjustment of status.
You can do that now. You can file now for the adjustment, and then USCIS can transfer the adjustment to the judge.
Oh, okay.
Or you can do it before the judge. Either way.
Oh, that's good. So we can even do that before even doing this MasterCard and everything?
Yeah, but nothing's going to happen. The judge is going to be the one who approves the adjustment.
Oh, okay.
All right.
That's good advice. That's a very good advice.
Very good.
So I'll reach out to your office, see how that is. But we're in Boston, and you guys are. You take cases in Boston?
Yep. We have an office in Hartford, and our lawyers from Hartford go up to Boston. It's only about 2-3 hour drive.
Oh, okay. Thank you so much,
hold on
Brad.
one
Really
second.
appreciate it for that. Yeah, thank you. Bye.
Let's go to Kyla in Newark. Kyla. Oops. Kyla.
Hello?
Hi, Kyla.
Hi. I have a question. I adopted my cousin because of her parents were not able to take care of her. And the adoption was completed when she was 16 years old. So I put in the paper and they rejected the I-95, I-136.
If the adoption happened after 16, you can't file for the child. The adoption was done too late.
So there's nothing we can do?
Well, where is this child now?
They're here.
How old is the child?
The child is 18 now.
We can talk about a SIDGE still. Would be with a different family member or another friend, but we could definitely talk about a SIDGE. But you did the adoption too late. Hold on one second, okay? Let's go to Rosemary in DeLand, Florida. Rosemary. Rosemary.
Hello.
Hi, Rosemary.
Hi, good night, Brad.
How are you? Good night.
Mr. Brad, yes, I have a question. I filed for my daughter. She is in Jamaica, and she will be turning 21 this month on the 18th. And the problem is our passport will be expired March after her 21 birthday. And while she's waiting on our interview date, she has been waiting from April for a date. Can I go ahead and renew her passport after she became 21?
Sure. Why not?
It won't be a problem with the immigration, right?
No. I mean, you're thinking of you're 3 years from now. Don't worry about it. But yes, you'll be able to renew her passport. Just make photocopies of the one that she has now, so you have evidence of whatever stamps are in that passport.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. That's just my question.
Okay.
Thank you.
Let's go to D in St. Paul, Minnesota. D.
Hi, Uncle Brad. Hi, can you hear me?
Yep, I do. What's going on?
Hello?
I hear you, D. How are you?
I'm good. Yeah, I used to watch your shows. Thank you very much for doing a good job at helping people.
My pleasure.
Okay, so I have a question. I have an iPhone 5 and I-130 pending, but my spouse have gotten very abusive financially, psychologically, emotionally, and even caused harm to my family. Yeah, I don't know what to do, but we are currently not living together because I separated a few days ago, and today is threatening me with a divorce.
Okay.
What am I supposed to do since I have a pending? I'm so scared right now.
Okay, all right. First of all, he can't do anything to you anymore. Even if he wants to divorce you, let him. Who cares? He's done in your life, okay? He's a miserable SOB, and he is done in your life. Put a fork in him, he's done. Don't have to deal with him anymore. You're going to file an I-360 application. When you get the I-360 is an abuse case, VAWA, Violence Against Women's Act. When you get the receipt notice back, you're going to notify immigration that you're converting your adjustment from a bona fide marriage adjustment case to an abuse case. And here's the receipt for the I-360. If your husband at that point divorces you, who cares? You can file a VAWA case as a divorced woman within 2 years of a divorce. If your husband goes to withdraw your case, too late. You filed a VAWA case. You can't do anything. And if he withdraws your case before you file the VAWA, you can always just file it back again. Either way, in all of these scenarios, you're going to be okay.
Okay, thank you.
All right. So hold on 1 second. All right. We'll help you. Okay. So hold on. All right.
Okay.
Okay. Let's go to Marsh in Hartford, Connecticut. Marsh.
Hi, good evening, Uncle Brad.
Hi, Marsh,
how are you
Good.
doing?
How you doing?
Happy New Year and
Thank
all the
you.
best for
Thank
you.
And to you, I
Okay.
didn't mean to interrupt, but thank you very much. And Happy New Year to you as well.
Thanks there. Anyhow, this is Grandma. I have a niece and her daughter filed for her, and she did her fingerprint December 2019.
Right.
Now, somebody reported her and she got a letter stating that she has to go to court in February of this year because she overstayed.
Who's sponsoring?
Now, her daughter.
Okay, so her daughter's over 21 and is a U.S. citizen.
Definitely.
And she came here on a visa.
Her daughter, yes.
No, the woman who has to go and remove him.
Yes, I'm sorry. Yes, she did.
Okay, and she doesn't have a criminal record. She's never lied to the government. Clean record, no skeletons. I got to worry about.
No, nothing.
Right,
No, I would not have been associated with her.
So the immigration, they're just dumb sometimes because they put somebody in deportation that's never going to get deported. So unfortunately, she got a little scare, or somebody gave her a little scare, and immigration followed up and put her in removal. But as long as she has a pending adjustment, her daughter's a U.S. citizen, she made a legal entry into America, she doesn't have a criminal record. The only other issue is affidavits of support. I'm sure we'll figure that one out too. She's going to get a green card. No one's going to arrest her. She'll be fine.
So she has nothing to worry about. They gave her. She should just go to court.
No. I mean, you're in deportation, so you should be worried. It's but if you have a good lawyer navigate it for you, she's absolutely going to be fine. In other words, if she was my client, I wouldn't lose 1 minute of sleep that she's not going to get a green card.
Okay, this has at least some fair.
But she shouldn't go. Never, ever, ever go to immigration court unless you can't afford it, obviously, on your own. Then they don't give you. Unfortunately, they don't give you legal aid attorneys. So,
yes, I think she has a free lawyer.
No, I'm saying the immigration court doesn't. But if she has a free lawyer, then fine. She wants to use a free lawyer, that's fine. But generally, you don't get legal aid attorneys when you go to immigration court. You should never represent yourself in immigration court, in regular court. Never represent yourself anywhere, because you want to know why? Somebody who represents themselves as a lawyer. I personally, if I have a legal issue, I never represent myself. I always go hire somebody else, even though I think I'm a pretty good lawyer, because I don't want to have a fool as a lawyer.
Like a doctor should never write a prescription for himself.
Yeah,
I got you.
Exactly.
I got you. Anyhow, thanks. I miss King. Yo. Bye.
Bye. All right, Milton in Huntsville, Alabama. Milton.
Hello.
Hi, Milton.
How you doing, Bray? Happy New Year.
Thank you. Happy New Year to you as well.
Good. I got some questions to ask you, sir.
Yes.
I just got my work permit, and I would just wanted to know how long it'll take for my green card.
Who's sponsoring you?
I got married to my wife.
And you're in Alabama.
Yeah, in Alabama.
I don't know. Could be 3 months. Could be 6 months. Could be 9 months. Could be 12 months. It's impossible to tell these days because of COVID.
Oh, okay. And then with this, another question: with this work permit, I can travel.
And is it a combo card? I don't know what you're looking at.
Yeah, it's the I-512 advanced parole.
Okay, yes. If it has the advanced parole, you can use that to travel for short trips out of the country. Don't stay out more than 4 weeks.
You said what?
I said don't stay out of the country more than 4 weeks. You can use it for short trips abroad.
Oh, I should stay out of the country more than 4 weeks.
Correct.
Okay. Okay. All right, bro. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. Best of luck. All right. So that was our meat and potatoes. By the way, later in the show, I'm going to speak with Mexican-American filmmaker Chelsea Hernandez about her documentary, Building the American Dream, which delves into the injustices in the construction industry in Texas. But I do have to remind everybody, if you didn't get your immigration questions asked and answered, You could always follow me on Instagram at Real Brad Bernstein. Ask anybody in the squad in the comments. I do answer the questions there. Just follow me on Instagram and drop me a DM. I'll be happy to answer your questions to the best of my ability. You could also follow us at Brad Show Live. If you follow us at Brad Show Live on Instagram or Twitter, you'll get the best 1-2 minutes of our show if you can't handle 2 hours of me. And Yo-Yo, Vanessa?
Yep. You guys can follow me at Jonathan Elias TV on Instagram.
And you guys can find me at Vanessa.Contreras TV.
Okay, squad, in today's attorney close-up, Spar and Bernstein immigration attorney Jonathan Afalion tells us what to do if you get arrested.
If an immigrant is arrested for a crime, it's extremely vital to contact the immigration attorney because a lot of criminal attorneys do not understand the immigration laws and they do not understand the pleas that you may have to take in the criminal side that will be immigration safe pleas. Our job is to work hand in hand with the criminal defense attorney to be able to come up to a resolution and to a plea that will keep you immigration safe down the line if you want to get a green card or if you want to go for your citizenship.
All right. All right. All right. It's social media time. Let's do it. All right. What do we have? If I say all right one more time. All right. All right. All right. All right. Seems to be the word of the day.
All right.
All right.
So our first one comes from a VIP squad member. You guys remember, if you ever need to throw in your question anytime throughout the day, join the Brad Squad on Facebook. All you have to do is put in Brad Squad, and as long as it says you can request, that is the page that you're going to be on. So you have to make sure you request so we can accept it. Throw in your question anytime throughout the day. So now this is from our VIP member. It's Apple Pie. Saying, my friend's grandmother filed for his mom in November 2017. It just got approved December 2020. They're waiting on NBC to contact them because of the extension of the ban. My friend was 20 years old when they filed. He'll be 24 in May. Will he age out, especially now due to Trump's extending the ban? Or is it still possible for him to be processed? If so, what should he do?
No, he's going to probably age out, unfortunately, unless the mother was a citizen when she filed for the son under 21. But if the mother was a resident, he's probably going to age out and be an F2B, which isn't the world's worst. It's only about another year, 2 years off.
Be Smooth Valentine, another Brad Squad VIP member, asked, I got a warrant in another state and I have a pending DUI case in Minnesota. Is there any way I can travel outside of the U.S. if they are all misdemeanors?
Generally, DUIs are not inadmissible offenses, but I would like to look at your dispositions before I say go enjoy your trip.
Okay, Stella Ifenwa Onubugo on Brad Squad, VIP member, another one, saying, I have a pending asylum application. How can I bring my 8-year-old daughter that I left in my home country? What can I do?
You can't at the moment, unfortunately, unless you get the asylum approved. So if you have a really good asylum case, then we can talk about trying to do a mandamus for that.
Okay. Lisa Douglas on YouTube, both my I-751 and N-400 were approved. My 13-year-old dependent's I-751 was not approved. I want to apply for passports for both of us. Do you think that this will be an issue?
Passports from your home country, it's not an issue because you're not applying for American passports and not American citizens yet. So it's not an issue at all. You can go apply for passports.
Okay, Lucky Sosa on Facebook asked, I'm a permanent resident. I pled guilty to a theft, and I was put on a felony probation with a suspended sentence of 5 years. Unbeknownst to me, I filed for a replacement for my lost green card and had gotten a receipt. Should I cancel the petition in order to avoid being put into deportation proceedings?
I think it's a little late because if you have a suspended sentence 5 years for a theft, that's an aggravated felony. Any Any time that you have a theft offense and you're sentenced to more than a year in jail, even if it is suspended, that is an aggravated felony. It's too late. I hope you didn't fingerprint, because if you did, then immigration's got you.
Lucky, Terry Taylor.
Right.
Yeah, Terry Taylor on YouTube. We processed 2018. We sent June. We received NOA 1 on July 8th of 2018. Then forwarded on Vermont in 2019.
Start again. I don't understand what you're saying.
I'm trying my best.
Yeah.
We processed in 2018. We sent it in June. We received an NOA 1 in July of 2018.
Notice of action.
Then forwarded to Vermont in May of 2019. Until now, we've never heard an update. Do we still check the old files in Vermont, or do we need to give up?
No. Well, it sounds like somebody filed for you, and they transferred your case from one service center to another. Why would you give up? Let's follow up on that case. Give us a call.
Similola Ogunlade on YouTube. My I-485 application was returned as I got the I-797C stating that my I-944 and I-864 were not included, even though they were signed and returned with the application. What may have happened?
Somebody's not looking at immigration. They made a mistake. Happens all the time.
Sandra Campbell on YouTube. My sister, who's out of status here, wants to get married to her U.S. citizen fiance, but he was on food stamps and recently came off. Will sponsoring her affect her AOS?
Yes, because he was on food stamps and recently came off. Any government assistance that you received in the last 3 years, or your petitioner received in the last 3 years, or anyone in your family received in the last 3 years in that household, unless it's children under 18, it's going to affect your adjustment of status.
Okay, Annie B. Kim's on Facebook. My nephew's I-130 was approved. He wishes to expedite his change of status due to family emergency. Is there any way he could do this?
Unlikely.
Roey Kelly on Facebook. I'm an American citizen and I filed an I-130 for my mom and daughter, who is a minor, on November 6th of 2019. I got approval for my daughter in July of 2020, but all I got for my mom is a receipt notice, and it's been 14 months now. How long does it take for a citizen to file for their parents? I filed online.
About 18 months.
KJ on YouTube. I applied for my I-485 along with my dad's employment-based petition as he was current EB2. However, I'm 20 years old and 6 months approximately. Does my age matter for filing that 485 and getting an approval?
No, just file it before 21. As long as you file the adjustment within 1 year of the I-140 getting approved, you would be under the Child Status Protection Act.
Ken Kibbett on YouTube. How long does it take to get a receipt for a work permit and to get the actual EAD? Is processing time taking longer than usual?
Yeah, of course, yeah. It's months and months and months and months and months and months and months.
Okay, Alice Jasper on YouTube. Appointment for an interview for I-751 and 400 next month. The problem is my spouse left me last month. My spouse abused me. We're still in contact as necessary. We haven't filed for divorce yet. On the interview day, my spouse will go with me. Is this a good or a bad idea?
Bad idea. Bad idea. Why
Okay.
would you let your spouse control your fate, the man or the woman, whoever it may be, who is abusing you? Who's to say they're going to do the right thing, number one? Number two, you shouldn't be near the person. They're abusive. Number three, you're potentially making a misrepresentation by showing up at immigration and claiming you're in a bona fide marriage when the fact is you're separated.
Mm-hmm.
So for all of those three reasons, bad, bad, bad. File a VAWA.
So would you
file a VAWA?
Okay, file a VAWA.
Mm-hmm.
Nathan Joseph from YouTube. What's your opinion if an I-130 is approved and the person has a pending asylum in immigration court?
Well, it depends. My opinion depends on who sponsored you for the I-130. How'd you come to America? I need to know those two things.
Olofunsho Ashowo on YouTube. I filed my I-751 since 2019 and got an 18-month extension, which will expire February 9th, 2021. Now, I haven't gotten an interview appointment yet. What should I do?
Well, wait. You're still a lawful resident. You just won't have evidence of it. But if you need evidence of it, you would only get a stamp in your passport if you can show that your employer needs some proof that you're a resident or you need to travel.
Kiki on YouTube. Does someone who has been here over 4 years qualify for a 245I through LPR spouse?
No, you qualify for 245I if you had a provable case filed before April 30th, 2021, or you were the derivative beneficiary of an approvable case filed before April 30th, 2021, and you were physically here on December 21st, 2000, or you had an approvable case or a derivative beneficiary of an approvable case filed before January 14th, 1998.
AJ on YouTube, how do you check status if no extension received for the I-751 check not cashed, but case delivered with confirmation? How long do you wait for an I-797?
Well, wait for the check to cash. That's going to be the first thing that happens. They're just really delayed because of COVID.
To my wife and 2 of my children, 6 and 7, scheduled for interview on different date next month. Is it possible to ask NBC to make it on the same date? If so, how?
Write them a letter and ask.
Okay, Eunice Conde on YouTube. I've been waiting for asylum biometrics since July. Should I be worried?
Not necessarily. That because of COVID. Not necessarily.
Prince Papasteam on YouTube. Form I-765 asks for current immigration status. What's the right answer if I've overstayed my B2 visa?
Overstay B2 visa. Ha
I don't want to be answering these wrong.
Yeah.
Just got better to double check.
That's right.
Yeah. All right, Dane Manarin on YouTube. How long is the wait for an interview in Jamaica? Approved I-130 CR1.
Months and months and months. I don't hear you.
YouTube.
Oh, there you go. Wait.
You can't hear me?
Now I do. Okay.
Okay, Bao Hong on YouTube. I am an F1 student who will graduate this summer. I just filed a marriage green card case. Should I also file for OPT to get an EAD card sooner or just wait?
Just wait on the marriage case. You'll get it faster. 2 more, guys.
All right, Hard Worker on YouTube. Hello, my name is Ralph. I'm a permanent resident. I pled guilty to theft and was put on... I think we read this one already. All right, Westman on YouTube. If my son is on my petition saying he's accompanying me, can I pay fees for him too? Or do I have to file a petition for him after I get through? My mom filed for me and I'm in Jamaica.
If you are over 21, your son will be included. If you're under 21 and your mom's a citizen, he will not be included. So it depends on your age and whether your mom's a citizen. I assume she's a citizen.
Marianne Handum on Facebook. My sister petitioned her husband. He was deported in January of 2018, and they have 3 kids together. He just got approved in October of 2019. Now he has an interview. She wants to know if she can live in Section 8 apartments, or will this affect his case? Will that be a public charge?
Section 8 is a public charge, and we also don't know how he got deported or why he got deported, but Section 8, to answer your question, Section 8 is a public charge. Oh, that's it. I forgot. I'm like, what's the next one? All right. I recently spoke with Chelsea Hernandez about her documentary, Building the American Dream, which exposes the widespread construction industry injustices in her home state of Texas, where at least half of the construction workers are undocumented, and according to the Workers' Defense Project, face the deadliest work conditions in the United States of America. Let's watch. Chelsea Hernandez is a Mexican-American filmmaker based in Austin, Texas. Her documentary, Building the American Dream, delves into the injustices in the construction industry in Texas, where, according to Remzekla, it is estimated that around half of the state's 1 million construction workers are undocumented. Building the American Dream is Chelsea's first directorial debut, and she joins me here on Bradshaw Live to discuss the film and her work. Welcome, Chelsea. Thanks for coming on. But before we get into our conversation, let's just watch a trailer from Building the American Dream.
Cuando nos venimos de México tenemos un sueño. Iba a ser algo bueno para un buen futuro.
Me metí a la escuela en El Salvador. Allí fue donde aprendí un poquito de electricidad. Nunca me imaginé que no me iban a pagar.
Randy se empezó a estar malo desde las 10 de la mañana y él le dijo que se sentía mal y nunca le decía deja de trabajar o no, él nomás le decía, lo corría para un lado.
I'm the sister of a fallen construction worker. You have the power to protect the workers who built this city.
Es hora de pedir justicia y que digamos un hasta aquí, no más muertes.
These are folks who work 10 hours doing the hardest job you can possibly do, and they're not afforded the basic rights of water.
Construimos la ciudad, demandamos dignidad, beneficios merecemos y pagados nos iremos.
Nosotros estamos peleando por todos, sin importar si es legal o es ilegal, de nacionalidad que sea.
So the statistic in the trailer that a construction worker is killed on the job in Texas every 2.5 days is just absolutely astounding. I don't think people understand how many people die building America.
Yeah, I mean, it was shocking to me. I had no idea. I live in Austin, Texas. I was going to the university at the time, and there was a scaffold accident near campus, and 3 workers had fallen to their death when their scaffold collapsed, building a luxury condominium tower. And it was in the news, it was devastating, and it was just so close to where I was going to school that it really shocked me to know that people were actually getting hurt on the job. And Austin, like many giant cities around the country, has been booming for the past 15 years. I mean, there's 10 new buildings in the skyline that has entered over the decade. And so it really hit home to me, realizing that people were actually dying to build my hometown. And so I went to a rally, and I had some friends who were volunteering with an organization called Workers Defense Project, and they were working on a study that would uncover this statistic, and it didn't come out until about a year after this accident. And that was when I was like, how does nobody know this? And we should all be outraged, especially in a town like Austin, which is very liberal. I was like, why is no one standing up trying to protect these workers and call for safer working conditions?
How long did it take you to make the movie?
When the idea came, I kind of put it in the back of my head. I filmed a little bit, and I thought, well, let me, get into the documentary industry. I need to, get some experience. And I did. And then another accident had happened. And I was like, okay, surely someone's out there developing this, or maybe it's already been made. And this was 2013. And I did some more research, and nobody had done anything about it. The New York Times had written an article about Texas construction, about the Workers Defense Project. It was a huge article, and that I thought would totally get someone interested in making a film about this, and there was nothing. And so I thought, I'm here on the ground, I'm seeing what's happening. I have connections to workers and to this organization. I just need a film. So it did consume my life for a while.
So who do we meet in building the American dream?
We meet a Salvadorian couple, Claudia and Alex. They're electricians, and they have 2 children, and they're just trying to make ends meet when they get robbed of their wages while doing all the electrical work on a grocery store in Dallas. So we follow them as they try to fight for their wages. It's about $11,000 that they are owed, as well as dealing with Claudia's immigration case, which she has an order of deportation, so she has to check in with ICE pretty regularly.
So it's a confluence of the immigrant situation, people getting deported, people coming from another country, people getting taken advantage of. So you have the immigration molded with worker safety.
Yeah, mainly also to show this link, as much as a worker dies every 2.5 days, nearly half of the construction workforce in Texas is undocumented. And so it's questioning, like, why is there so much danger in the workplace? And it's really because you have immigrants being taken advantage of. They're disposable. And so, of course, we're going to see people die, people get hurt on the job.
What type of research goes into making a film like this?
The Workers' Defense Project is the only organization in the state that was fighting for construction workers, specifically undocumented and immigrant workers. And so my access to them was really incredible. And they were the only people doing this sort of research. I mean, unions hadn't even had these numbers. The fact that a worker dies every 2.5 days in Texas, like, unions had no idea about that statistic until Workers' Defense Project got the funding to do a study to uncover those numbers.
Unions, who are supposed to be protecting the worker, doesn't know anything about this.
I think, they've got so much to deal with, and they don't have the resources to conduct a really intensive study on the workplace.
So Building the American Dream, it was released in 2019. Have there been any updates on the families that you profiled in the film? For example, we talked about Claudia. She was facing an order of deportation. She was owed $11,000. How's it going for her now?
They got a little bit of money, and we see that in the film, but it was really only about $420, and they doubt that they'll get their money back, to be honest. However, what has happened from that is their employer actually threatened their lives, and their attorney recognized that a death threat from an employer was something that they could take to court. So they were able to apply for a U visa, both of them. However, that was a few years ago, so they're still pending. But she was checking in at ICE every 3 months, and now she doesn't have to check in for another 2 years. That was a great victory for her.
Tell us about the Granillo family that you featured in the film.
So the Granillo family, their son was undocumented, and he was working in the industry in residential construction. And in Texas, there's no state law that requires employers to give their workers a rest break. And Roindy Granillo, the son, he was about 25 years old, was ill on the construction site and asked his boss for a rest break. His boss denied him a break and told him he needed to continue working. And this was in 100-degree temperatures right outside of Dallas, Texas. And he collapsed. And there's a 911 call in the movie, which is a woman across the street who called 911 because his boss and his coworkers went over to tell her to call, and then they left. So he was left in this house unconscious and later died. And so the Granillo family teamed up with the Workers' Defense Project and other worker organizations like the AFL-CIO and fought for a rest break law in Dallas. And they ended up winning, but it wasn't without a fight. There's some strong words from some city council members that are against a rest break.
Christian Otavo, he lost his dad in a roofing accident. He then became a building inspector after his dad died because he wanted to prevent accidents from happening. How is he doing these days?
Christian's doing okay. He's working in carpentry, and he's an independent contractor. He realizes what a safe workplace looks like, and he understands his rights. So he knows if he's put in a precarious situation, he knows how to come forward.
What are some of the common misconceptions you found that people have regarding construction site safety?
I think people wonder why workers continue to work when they're not getting paid, not realizing that the majority of them are undocumented workers. These employers keep promising that they'll get paid, but it doesn't happen. And in Claudia and Alex's case, that was an extreme situation of really what happened.
In New York City, at least, whether you are legal or out of status, if you don't get paid, you can sue your employer.
There was a federal courthouse being built here in Austin, and there were 6 American citizens who weren't getting paid, and they had to go to the organization to fight for what they were owed.
The Hollywood Reporter, they wrote that Building the American Dream is an eye-opener about the abuse of workers whose immigration status makes them victims. What were some of your most shocking discoveries about the construction industry and undocumented workers in Texas?
Just the exorbitant amount of workers getting hurt on the job. We had another worker we had filmed who had stepped on a nail, and his employer told him to keep working. He thought, the pain would go away. And a few days later, his foot was so swollen that the employer told another worker, take him to the hospital because I don't want him to die here. He had to get 5 of his toes amputated.
In New York, there is strict liability. If you get injured on a work site because either the employer did not follow proper safety protocol, didn't give you a proper safety device, or because you fall or something falls on you. First thing you should always do is stay exactly where you are. Don't get driven to the hospital. Don't have your employer drive you to the hospital, because as soon as that happens, employer says, this person didn't get hurt here, and you're an undocumented alien, and you're concerned about bringing litigation, and now there's a question of whether you were even working on that work site because you're getting paid off the books. There's no payroll records for you. So if you get injured, you stay exactly where you are. Everybody has a cell phone. You call 911 for two reasons. Number one, it's the quickest way to the hospital is with an ambulance.
Yeah.
It's quicker than your employer driving you. And number two, an ambulance picking you up where you got injured in a construction site documents you were injured on a construction site. And they have safety inspectors on the job site. The safety inspectors, they make pretend they're your friend, but they are not your friend. The safety inspectors are employed by the insurance companies to try to get information from you so that they can say they're not responsible for the accident. They come to interview you, they come to be your friend, but they're really not your friend. So really, if you get hurt, don't talk to anyone but your doctor and your lawyer. Okay?
That's great advice.
And lastly, take a lot of pictures, because by their own design, construction sites change every day because things are getting built. Does Texas require companies to have workers' compensation insurance?
No, Texas is the only state that workers' compensation is not required for contractors.
As a worker in New York, if you get injured, your medical bills get paid through workers' compensation, and you have strict liability to sue for your pain and suffering the owner of the property. But that's not how it works in Texas.
No.
Can you tell us how it works in Texas?
There are employers who are trying to do good out there. You know, I don't want to vilify the entire industry, but there are companies who do provide workman's comp and liability, and they are proud to provide that. But then you start getting into the subcontractors, right? And that sub's hiring another sub who's hiring another sub, and things get lost down the line. And then that's where we see a lot of accidents happening because they don't have liability or they're not providing workman's compensation, and just, you know, getting guys off the street. And honestly, here in Texas, like, there's a shortage of workers. I mean, in 2017, right before Hurricane Harvey hit, there was a 20,000 worker shortage in Houston alone. It's no big deal to have a worker get hurt on the job. They'll dump them off at the hospital and pick up some new people because people are looking for work and they've got plenty of jobs to fill.
Tell me a little bit about your immigration background.
Well, so I'm a fourth generation Texan, you know, Mexican American. My family's been here for a long time. And so I've sort of, I guess, assimilated into the Texan ways. I grew up here in Texas, born in San Antonio, but I have a lot of friends who are my age who are first generation Mexicans, and, you know, seeing their parents fight and work really hard so that they can get an education. You know, there's a lot of universal elements there of just parents trying to give their children a good life. And I think that's what also kind of drew me to the story, is seeing these immigrants, you know, just put food on their table, provide the best childhood that they can for their kids.
So where can people watch Building the American Dream? Maybe Joe Biden will watch it and change the laws. You never know.
Yeah, we are working on that, you know, because even though new administration is coming in, you know, these issues with worker safety have been happening for a very long time. And so right now, we just wrapped up streaming on PBS, but we are about to announce an educational distributor, and we'll be able to be available for streaming universities and libraries, and also be working on having community screenings, all in the virtual space.
There's a website for buildingtheamericandream.com. What do you have on buildingtheamericandream.com?
So if you go to our website, we've got a resources tab. You can get information for worker safety and know your rights information in the construction field for different states, including Texas. We've also added some COVID-19 resources on how to keep you and your employers safe, and it is bilingual.
Great. What is your American dream?
I feel like I'm living a little bit of it right now. I had always wanted to be in media. I had a kids show when I was 8 years old, like a little Martha Stewart show, but for kids that was on the local channels in Austin. I've always been intrigued by journalism and documentary and film, and I just hope I can continue making films for the rest of my life.
Building the American dream, she exposed the underbelly of the Texas construction industry, exploiting undocumented immigrants. Certainly eye-opening, and thank you very much for coming on. Great job, and wow, what a labor of love to do that over a decade. Congratulations to you.
Thank you. Thanks, Brad.
All right, guys, you think we could do it? We did it yesterday, right?
We did do it yesterday.
We did it by about a second. We had about 1 second to spare. 9 questions, 50 seconds. I'm ready.
Oh, God. All right.
I'm ready. Let's go.
Can a U.S. citizen-sponsored spouse leave their job and go to school full-time?
Yes.
Can I file an I-131 after sending the AOS package?
Yes.
How long after divorce can you get remarried?
The next day.
I have a green card. Can I file for my son who is 24?
Yes, as long as he's single.
Can I marry during the wait time in the F2B category?
No, because you would be denied.
What is category A10?
That's something for a work permit. I don't know off the top of my head.
Can I apply for citizenship with the expired green card?
Yes, if you qualify.
Can I expedite I-130 case due to financial loss?
No.
Can I call USCIS and reschedule biometrics?
Yes. No.
Is there a difference between pardon and expungement?
Is there a difference between what?
Pardon and expungement.
Yes, there is. It's a big difference.
All right, we got it. We got that.
No. Somebody stop the clock with 10 seconds to go.
We would have had it.
Yeah, because I shouldn't say pass. It's my fault. I'm supposed to say pass.
So I'm supposed to say pass.
I'm
right.
supposed to say pass. Aha, yes. I'm supposed to say pass.
We still would have had
counted that one as answered.
But no, that wasn't answered. I didn't answer it because I said I don't know off the top of my head what A10 is. I know it's for it's a code for work authorization, but off the top of my head, I don't remember what an A10 is.
Well, you gave us direction, Brad.
Yes, right. But I knew what they were talking about. I just didn't know what it was. All right. Comments of the day, guys. Comments of the day. We'll put that as a tie. How's that? A tie, right?
I guess so.
Although Marge Higgs says we got it.
Yeah, I think we got it.
All right.
Yeah, enough time. All right. Our first comment of the day comes from one of our VIPs. It's Apple Pie saying, "You have a fantastic team, Brad. You guys are amazing. This show always makes my day. I look forward to seeing you guys and watching the show all day, every day."
That's it?
I mean, yeah, that was a lot. That's great.
I'm making a joke. I go, that's it? All right. Vanessa.
Okay. This comes from Marge Higgs, and she says, "Brad, please stop strangling the teacup handle."
What was I doing to the teacup handle?
I think you were gripping it tightly, and then Julia was just zooming you in.
It's cold.
Where's the pinky?
Pinky up.
Yeah.
Pinky up.
I know.
Yes. All right, our third one comes from Tanisha Brown, saying, "The best immigration show in the USA."
Oh, thank you very much.
I think in the world.
In the world. But we'll take USA.
We'll take it.
Yes.
Yeah. We have friends in the Last comment of the day comes from Tanya Love saying, "Brad is the best lawyer. By the time I am done listening to him, I can give people advice, all because he puts everything so clear for people to understand." Laugh out loud. Not saying I will give advice. Call Mr. Brad.
All right. Thank you very much.
Yes.
Yeah, lots of people learn lots of things, right? There's lots of people who don't have any immigration issues, but it's a good learning experience. And I'm happy to help everybody. Thanks. Great job, Yo-Yo Vanessa. Great job, Julian. Everybody. Good job, Uncle Brad, making the tea. I liked it today.
Absolutely.
We'll see you all tomorrow for Hump Day. Thanks. So, Sam, as part of the production, we have to say this disclaimer at the end of the show. Do you mind reading it for me?
Okay. Okay, but you know, Brad, I have to do everything around here. It's bad enough I've got to remember everything that happened on the episode from the previous day.
Forget it, I'll do it. The proceeding was information only and not specific legal advice. Consult an attorney about your individual situation. Prior successful results do not guarantee a similar outcome in the future. To make an appointment with the Spar and Bernstein law firm located at 225 Broadway in New York City, call 1-800-529-5465. That's 1-800-529-5465. Easy to remember, 1-800-LAW-LINK. That's 1-800-LAWLINK. Once again, make a call to 1-800-529-5465. And of course, link up with the law offices of Spar and Bernstein, located at 225 Broadway on the 5th floor. If I were you out there, make the call, make the link, make the connection, make it Spar and Bernstein. 1-800-LAWLINK. That's 1-800-529-5465. And now, conveniently located in Hartford, Connecticut on 1 Congress Street. Visit us in Connecticut or in New York at 225 Broadway. That's 1-800-529-5465. 1-800-LAW-LINK. 1-800-529-5465.